process of that, because I mean, what we're going to be talking about this morning has to do with intimacy.
Hand in
Okay,
hand.
because transparency and intimacy
sharing,
go hand in hand.
Yeah, we were sharing about our events, and I was sharing how I personally got triggered at the event, and it was really cool that I was in a place where I felt loved enough and safe enough, and that those deep feelings that I was not even aware of, you know, kind of surfaced, and I was allowed to process and talk it out, and it was really, really cool. And since I've been home, I came home from this glorious meeting, and there's a lot of emotions, but then I rolled right into my grandpa's memorial, Aurora's birthday party, and I've just found myself in some places feeling like stuck, the tug of war between the natural realm, like I feel like I need to get a job, I need to do this, I need to do, and the spiritual realm, and, you know, walking this thing out. And I found myself in some really lonely, hopeless places this week. And I don't usually share that kind of stuff on Facebook. Yeah. And I really felt that I was supposed to, because other people need to see that I struggle too.
Yeah.
And so exactly. Here it is. I struggled too. I felt hopeless. I know a lot of people love to listen to my laughter and the joy. And the truth is sometimes shit gets real, and I get stuck in my emotions and in those places. And that's where I'm grateful for the body. You know, I've called Nicole Kagel at like 2 a.m. Like, I just need to talk to somebody. So I'm grateful that God has put me in an amazing body where I can now have these real conversations and open up, and I don't have to suffer by myself, you know. And in the short time that I've met you, Carrie, God's really opened up and connected our hearts in a way that we can be real and honest.
Yeah. That's really where the nut of it lies. I mean, you had to go there. That's all right. Let people hear your laughter. I know. Let people hear you laugh, because that's how they know you, my beautiful friend. And it is contagious.
Sometimes I have the maturity of a 12-year-old boy. I can't.
You goofball. I know. You know what, though? But if we can't laugh at ourselves and we can't laugh at situations, then, you know, why are we here? I mean, obviously there's something deeper, but I love laughter. In fact, one of the biggest things that I do, so talking about transparency, and then we'll go into some other things that I was on my mind this morning about the subject. But when I first meet people, this is something that I do. And I actually shared this when I was in Crestone. When I first meet somebody, because of conditioning, I tend to try to engage laughter as quick as possible. Making a joke or acting funny or being goofy or being zany, because there's something in my conditioning that I realized if I could disarm people, and I mean, this was a learned behavior from when I was really young, because I have people come to me and go, "You are so funny." And I'm thinking, no, I'm not. No, I am not. I am like super serious. And then I realized, oh, they haven't had enough exposure and intimacy with me to see that is a defense mechanism. And when I went to Crestone, the Spirit was sharing with me on the drive there that this was going to be all about transparency and not hiding and not having masks and not doing those typical knee-jerk reactions like I normally would, where for me, I have to bring humor right away, because if I bring humor right away, they'll see that I'm not a threat. And then if I'm not a threat and they feel comfortable with me, they will not reject me. And, you know, some of this stuff has been really hard for me to excavate. I'm not so emotionally charged about it anymore, but I've really wanted to find out who I am. Not the masks I wear, not the conditioning that I have been brought up in, the social norms, just so that we can fit in, because a lot of us have rejection and abandonment issues. I mean, the vast majority of us do, if we would really look deep. Because you think about it, as soon as we came in, As soon as we came into this matrix, we experienced separation, did we not? So we were one with our mother in the womb. And as soon as we came out,
Wow.
we were experiencing what separation is like. You know, before we could feel her heartbeat. We could feel and hear her when she was talking and saying things or laughing, and on the belly would jiggle and we'd get tossed to and fro because of laughter. Or when she would have to run to the bathroom because we were pressing on her bladder and she's moving and we're being jiggled to and fro in there. Everything that mother was going through, we experienced with her. Oh, I'm getting emotional when I'm thinking about this. And so when we entered in, we experienced separation in our memory, right? We don't remember a lot of this until we start really digging and going into those things. And because the memories are all there. The memories are all there. What was it like? What did we experience when we were in that place of oneness, unity with our mother? You know, even to the point where we could have experience with our father, who would put his head, you know, and speak into the womb and talk to us before we even came, and we begin to recognize his voice, so that when we would come in, we would already recognize the pattern, the frequency of what our parents sounded like before we entered in, because we needed that comfort in coming out of the womb. But when you're in a sterile environment with a doctor and it slaps you on your ass to get you to cry, you experience trauma. And so that ingrains separation. And that's so,
Yeah.
Things need to change, right? Things need to change. So in being a transparent moment here, my knee-jerk reaction is to make people laugh. Because I, at the root of it, do not want to experience rejection and abandonment. And then when you dig a little bit deeper, it's really about how many times have I rejected and abandoned myself?
Yep.
Because it really has nothing to do with anybody else on the outside, right? That is where the crux of this whole thing is about what's going on in here, because we manifest it externally everywhere. So this whole thing about transparency, I've been connecting it with the word intimacy. And so again, the name of your retreat that you went to with Daniel, David, I am, and the rest of the crew that were there, in what our heart is crying out for. And, you know, my gathering that I was participating in being able to share from the heart level different things that were going on, so that we can begin to truly feel and connect with one another from the place of the heart. Because really, if I continue to wear my mask around everyone, that I'm just trying to make them laugh, all it is doing is exposing my uncomfortableness. Because I don't know whether you're going to hurt me or not. Are you friend or are you foe? And really, that's my question. Am I friend or am I foe? So that journey when I was in Crestone was looking at authenticity. Is that where we are at? Are we truly willing to do that? And I'll tell you what, if you haven't done a lot of that internal shadow work, that is one of the most freaking scariest places you can ever be. No one, yeah, right? How much of us really like that place of vulnerability?
No. Yep.
But that's where we need to go. So your vulnerability when you call Nicole at 2 a.m. and you're like, you know what, shit is going sideways and I need some help from my sister. You're being vulnerable in that moment because you've built trust with her.
Yeah.
But how different would the world be if we actually built the trust within us so that it was automatically granted in every person that we met?
That statement makes me want to do the work all the more, so that it's not just me that experiences that, but it's for everyone, and it can be at such an instant level.
Exactly. Because it's really up to us to be able to change our external world. And, I was having this discussion with my stepson this morning, because, to a degree, we're all struggling, and realizing that our journey is not individual. Okay, so we walk individually when we're dealing with our own like karma issues, or if we're looking at past lives and we begin having those memories. Of course, that's very individual as we're working through those things. But if we continue to look at it as an individual journey, we are never going to connect in oneness unity. We're never going to, because we're going to continue to separate ourselves, right? Like, you don't know the journey I've been on, and you don't know what has been shown to me. And it's always like separate, separate, separate.
Yeah.
When really it's like, I need help with this shit, okay? I just got a memory back, and I'm working on this, and I need can you please hold my hand? Because I am dealing with some really rough stuff. Even if the full memory doesn't come back, if there's an emotion, if it's in a feeling, because it's all and will always be about the heart. I can't, that's why we're talking about transparency. I want to see you, Kandra, from your heart. I don't want to see your avatar, and I don't want to see the stories and the narratives, although those things help me connect to your heart, but I don't want to see through fractured lenses anymore. Because all that pain, all that suffering that we actually inflict upon ourselves, let's just call it, and let's be real, we're inflicting upon ourselves because there is no judgment outside of ourselves, is keeping us from being able to see each other properly. Why there's no trust. Are you friend or foe? So I'm going to start making you laugh right away so you instantly like me. Because if you like me, then you're not a threat.